Have you ever experienced a coincidence so bizarre, so unbelievable, that it made you question everything you thought you knew about the universe? From presidents dying on the same day to ships being saved by the very same lifeboat years later, we're exploring 15 mind-blowing moments that will leave you scratching your head and wondering, was it just chance or something more? The Lincoln-Kennedy assassination parallels are a fascinating set of coincidences that some people find intriguing. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, was assassinated on April 14, 1865. John F. Kennedy, the 35th President, was assassinated on November 22, 1963. Both Lincoln and Kennedy were elected to Congress in the year 1846 and later became presidents in 1860 and 1960, respectively. Both presidents were shot in the head while sitting next to their wives. Lincoln was shot at Ford's Theater in Washington, D.C., while Kennedy was shot in a motorcade in Dallas, Texas. Lincoln had a secretary named Kennedy, and Kennedy had a secretary named Lincoln. Both presidents were succeeded by vice presidents named Johnson. Andrew Johnson succeeded Lincoln, and Lyndon B. Johnson succeeded Kennedy. Now let's jump back to the year 1890 for a story that's both sad and bizarre. In the year 1890, something truly strange and tragic happened involving two sets of siblings, and it's a story that seems like it's from a sad novel. Let's go back to that time and unravel the unusual events that took place. There were twin sisters named Emily and Eliza Lynch. Now, these sisters, unfortunately, faced a mix-up that led to a terribly sad ending. Instead of their usual medicine, they were mistakenly given sleeping pills. Imagine that, a simple mistake with such devastating consequences. What makes it even more bizarre is that these twins had married two brothers named John and William Stanton. So not only were they sisters, but they became sisters-in-law as well. Now this is where it gets even more heart-wrenching. Within just a few minutes of each other, Emily and Eliza tragically passed away due to the sleeping pills mix-up. But the strange coincidences didn't end there. About 6 months later, the brothers they married, John and William Stanton, faced their own tragic fate. Both of them, within a mere 24 hours, suffered fatal heart attacks. Can you believe it? It's almost like a chain of sorrowful events tied these two families together. The timing and the way these events unfolded make it a truly extraordinary and sorrowful tale. The loss of the twin sisters and then the brothers, all within such a short span, is like something out of a sad story. This time it's about a famous writer named Mark Twain and a comet called Halley's Comet. Imagine being so connected to a comet that it marks the beginning and end of your life. That's the fascinating story of Mark Twain and Halley's Comet. Mark Twain, a renowned author, was born on a special day in 1835, the very day when Halley's Comet graced the Earth's sky. Now, Halley's Comet is not your everyday celestial visitor, it's a comet that only swings by every 76 years or so. So Twain's entrance into the world coincided with a spectacular celestial event. Fast forward 74 years, and Twain finds himself nearing the end of his remarkable life. In 1909, he famously said, "I came in with Halley's Comet in 1835, and I expect to go out with it in 1910. It's like he felt this cosmic connection, a unique bond with the comet that had shared the sky with him on the day he was born. Sure enough, in 1910, as Twain predicted, Halley's Comet made its grand return. However, this time, it wasn't just about the comet gracing the night sky. It was also about the end of an extraordinary literary journey. On April 21st, 1910, Mark Twain passed away, just one day after the comet's reappearance. It's almost like he had this celestial appointment with the comet, a poetic and cosmic farewell. This time, we'll dive into the tale of a famous ship, the Titanic, and the brave woman, Molly Brown, who survived its tragic sinking. Margaret Molly Brown, known for surviving the tragic sinking of the RMS Titanic. Her story takes a twist that seems straight out of a movie. Back in the early 1900s, Molly Brown had her travel plans all set. She was initially supposed to board a ship called the SS Lusitania. However, fate had other plans for her. There was a bit of a hiccup in the form of a coal strike which made her change her mind at the last minute. In a strange turn of events, Molly found herself on the RMS Titanic instead, a decision that would alter her destiny. Now, the Titanic, famously known as the unsinkable ship, faced an unfortunate fate on that fateful night in 1912. The ship hit an iceberg and sank, leading to one of the most tragic maritime disasters in history. Molly Brown, however, managed to survive. Her lifeboat was one of the few that made it out of the chaos. It's incredible to think that a last-minute decision prompted by a coal strike could have such a profound impact on someone's life. But the irony doesn't end there. The ship Molly Brown was originally meant to be on, the SS Lusitania, faced its own tragic fate just 3 years later. It was sunk by a German U-boat during World War I, leading to a significant loss of lives. A simple change in plans, influenced by a coal strike, led her to a different ship and ultimately to survival on a night when the unsinkable ship met its tragic end. Now, we've talked about a lady surviving a big ship sinking. Let's go back to a time when people played card games a lot. Imagine being so engrossed in a game of cards that you don't want to stop, not even for a proper meal. That's where John Montague, the Earl of Sandwich, comes into the picture. In the 18th century, this nobleman had a passion for gambling, and he had a clever idea to keep the games going without interruptions. The Earl of Sandwich is famously credited with inventing the sandwich. Instead of sitting down for a formal meal, he decided to place slices of meat between 2 pieces of bread. This simple yet brilliant invention allowed him to continue playing cards while enjoying a convenient and mess-free bite. Little did he know that his innovative solution would become a globally loved and versatile food item, the sandwich. So the next time you bite into your favorite sandwich, you can thank the Earl of Sandwich for his creative thinking during intense card games. It's a quirky story of how a simple idea born out of a desire for convenience turned into a culinary classic loved by people all over the world. Now let's delve into a tale that sparks imaginations with its mysterious elements. In this story, an American warship is said to have achieved the unbelievable, becoming invisible and teleporting through space and time. While this sounds like something out of a science fiction movie, it has fascinated people for decades. However, here's the catch: there is no solid evidence to support this extraordinary story. It's often considered more of a legend or myth than a proven fact. What makes it even more interesting is the connection to another mysterious phenomenon, the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle, an area known for strange disappearances of ships and aircraft, is located off the coast of Philadelphia. The coincidence of these 2 mysterious events occurring in proximity adds an extra layer of intrigue. While the Philadelphia experiment may remain a mystery, its association with the Bermuda Triangle only adds to the allure of unexplained phenomena in our world. It's a story that leaves room for wonder and speculation, captivating the curious minds who ponder the mysteries hidden in the depths of the sea and the realms of imagination. But now let's talk about something a bit different, something that happened around Christmas. In 2009, a strange and mysterious occurrence took place in different parts of England, involving 2 men named James Vance and David John Lewis. What makes this story truly bizarre is that these 2 individuals, who were complete strangers and lived far apart from each other, both met their end in a strangely synchronized way. They both died in their sleep on Christmas Eve, and to add an extra layer of peculiarity, they were dressed as Santa Claus. Imagine the festive night of Christmas Eve, usually filled with joy and anticipation for the next day's celebrations. However, for James Vance and David John Lewis, this night turned out to be eerily similar in an unexpected and unexplainable way. It's as if a strange cosmic coincidence brought their lives together for a peculiar moment. James Vance and David John Lewis, unknown to each other, shared the uncanny fate of passing away on the same night. both donned in the iconic red and white attire of Santa Claus. The festive and joyful image of Santa Claus takes an unexpected turn in this tale, introducing an element of mystery and wonder that transcends the usual boundaries of daily life. The fact that these two men, living in different places and having no apparent connection, experience such a strangely similar end raises questions that may never be answered. Now, get ready for a tale that's a bit shocking. Not once, not twice, but 7 times shocking. It all started in 1942 when Roy, just a young park ranger, had his first encounter with lightning. You'd think once would be enough, right? But lightning seemed to have a strange interest in Roy. Over the years, he experienced the incredible and terrifying event of being struck by lightning not just once, but a total of 7 times. Now, surviving a lightning strike is already a rare thing, but Roy Sullivan wasn't your average person when it came to lightning encounters. Despite the odds stacked against him, he managed to survive each and every lightning strike. Can you imagine? 7 times lightning, the powerful force of nature, chose Roy as its target. Lightning left its mark on him, but Roy, against all expectations, pulled through each time. It's like he had a special connection with lightning, a connection that most people can't even fathom. Now get ready for something a bit creepy. We're heading into the weird events that happened behind the scenes of a scary movie called The Omen. This was the case during the making of The Omen, a horror movie that took a creepy turn off screen as well. Firstly, a stunt performer, someone who does dangerous actions in the movie, sadly lost their life. This brought a real sense of sadness to the film set, but it didn't stop there. The person in charge of the baboons used in the movie got seriously hurt, attacked by one of the animals. Picture the shock and fear among the crew. And if that wasn't spooky enough, something straight out of a horror scene occurred. Lightning, with all its electric power, struck a church right in the middle of filming a scene. Can you imagine the hair-raising atmosphere that created? All these strange incidents happening behind the scenes led people working on the movie to wonder if there was a mysterious curse hanging over them. It's like the scary events from the movie were seeping into real life. The movie set, supposed to be a place of make-believe horror, became a stage for unexplained and frightening happenings. The tragic loss, the baboon attack, and the lightning strike added an unexpected layer of spookiness to the Omen production, making people question if there was something more than just fiction at play. Our next story takes us into the fascination of a writer with a special number, 23. Novelist William Burroughs was obsessed with the number 23, believing it to be following him throughout his life. His life events seemed strangely tied to the number 23 in ways that fueled his fascination. William's connection with the number 23 started with his birth on February 1st. Now here's where it gets interesting. His first book was published on his 23rd birthday. It's like the number 23 had a role in the beginning of his writing journey. But that's not all. His life took another quirky turn when he passed away on August 2nd, completing the sequence that adds up to 23. For William Burroughs, these connections weren't just coincidences. They felt almost like a magical force at play in his life. The number 23 seemed to weave through his important life events in a way that left him convinced it held a special significance. From the day he was born to the day he started his writing career, and even the day he left the world, the number 23 was there, almost like a companion on his life's journey. Our next tale involves a sticky situation with molasses and rum. The Boston Molasses Flood in 1919 and the Great Molasses Flood in 1832 in London share a strange and sticky connection. In 1919, in the bustling city of Boston, Massachusetts, a colossal tank filled with molasses, a gooey and sweet syrup, suddenly burst open. The unleashed molasses flooded the streets at an astonishing speed of up to 35 miles per hour, creating a sticky wave that swept through the neighborhood. It was like a sugary tsunami, causing destruction and chaos in its path. Now, fast forward 87 years earlier to 1832, in London, England. In a bizarre twist of history, a similar sticky incident occurred, but this time it involved a vat of rum. The rum vat decided to burst, and the streets found themselves flooded with alcohol. Imagine walking down the road and finding yourself ankle-deep in a river of rum. The irony of these two events, separated by decades and continents, is captivating. Two different substances, molasses and rum, both bursting out of their containers and transforming the streets into unexpected and sticky rivers. Okay, now we're moving on to a different story. In 1974, something important happened with the then President Richard Nixon. In the year 1974, a moment occurred that seemed like something out of a suspenseful movie, but it was the real-life drama involving the then President Richard Nixon. It was a day when a dropped pen and a quick-thinking Secret Service agent played a crucial role in saving the president from a potential assassination attempt. President Nixon was in the midst of a public event, going about his duties, and a Secret Service agent named Thomas Jerome Walters was right there, keeping a watchful eye on things. Then, in a twist of fate, something as simple as a dropped pen changed the course of history. As the president was making his way through the crowd, Agent Walters accidentally bumped into a gunman who had sinister intentions. In the commotion caused by the unexpected collision, the would-be assassin's aim was disrupted just enough for him to miss his shot at President Nixon. It was a split-second moment of chaos that potentially saved the president's life. Now, get ready for a touching story from the time of the Civil War in America. Back during the Civil War in America, there were two brothers, the Sullivans, who joined the same group of soldiers. It was a tough time, and sadly, both brothers faced a terrible fate. The first brother got caught in the crossfire and was hurt by the enemy. Seeing his brother in danger, the second brother tried to save him, but tragically, he ended up drowning in the water while trying to rescue his sibling. It all happened on the same day, just a few hours apart. This sad and brave story of the Sullivan Brothers deeply touched the hearts of people. The famous musical creators, Rodgers and Hammerstein, were moved by their tale of love, sacrifice, and the harsh reality of war. In response, they made a musical called South Pacific, using the experiences of the Sullivan Brothers as a backdrop. The musical explored themes of love, courage, and how war affects people's lives. Okay, now we'll talk about something different after the sad story of the Sullivan Brothers. This new story is about a composer named Alan Parsons and a surprising event that happened to him. In a twist of fate and a stroke of luck, the life of American composer Alan Parsons took a surprising turn. One day he was supposed to take a flight, but something unexpected happened. The day before the flight, he had a small car accident. This accident made him miss the plane. Shockingly, the plane he was supposed to be on crashed, and everyone on board sadly lost their lives. This close call with a terrible event had a big impact on Alan Parsons. To express his feelings about the twist of fate that saved him, he decided to create a song called Sylvia's Eyes. The song's lyrics say, "Fate intervened, a twist of chance, emphasizing how small things like a car accident can change our lives in a big way." A little car accident, which might seem like a problem at first, turned out to be the reason Alan Parsons wasn't on the plane that crashed. Our last story is about two famous music creators, Ludwig van Beethoven and Frederick Chopin. Two great music creators, Ludwig van Beethoven and Frederick Chopin. They were born in the same year, 1770, like musical companions on a shared journey. Even though they were different, they started their musical stories together. Now, fast forward to March 26th, a special date for both of them. Beethoven, known for his powerful symphonies, said goodbye to the world on March 26, 1827. Later, Chopin, famous for his beautiful piano music, followed suit and left on March 26, 1849. The interesting part is not just the same date, but also the same birth year, making their connection more unique. It's like fate arranged a musical meeting point for these two maestros. While their connection might not be as flashy as some stories, it captures the hearts of music lovers, from the monkey business on the set of The Omen to the sleeping Santas. What did you think was the strangest coincidence? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to share any crazy coincidences you've experienced yourself.